In this industry, you can't be afraid of taking a risk because you never know where your next opportunity is going to come. And if we hadn't have taken any of the risks that we have, we would have never been able to take it to the levels that we have.
Like the loggers who came before them, despite the headlines and hardships facing the industry, there are people like Dustin and Brittany Diali who just keep investing.
Our destiny's in our hands. We can do there's nothing that really stops us from what, pretty much the limitations we put on ourselves.
Dustin started out hauling logs.
I know how I did it. It's just get to know everybody and don't be afraid to try.
Brittany worked alongside her dad, a contractor.
So my dad was a home builder, so I grew up on the on the construction sites with him, and I started out at 2-3 years old. He'd give me a little box and would say, "Go pick up all the nails."
The two appear almost fearless.
Don't be afraid to go out and don't be afraid if you go out and you fail on a job. Go out and try it and do your best. Give it your absolute best. That's how we did it. Nobody taught me how to log.
Our whole goal was to be self-sufficient. So we've got the logging company, and that's expanded from just being yarder logging, ground logging. We've gone into tethers. We now have a full road building side. We've got the rock crusher and the rock crushing crew. So as far as out in the woods, we can do everything from building the roads to delivering the logs to the mill. So we went, okay, there's one more piece to this.
Oregon West, this is Gail.
The missing piece of the puzzle of self-sufficiency is this small lumber mill near Eagle Point, Oregon.
Updating and kind of reworking on our rooms here, cleaning them out and getting them a little bit more organized, building some shelves.
Dustin and Brittany bought the mill in June of 2024.
It's been insane. This has been a whirlwind. So we came in, hit the ground. We took about a week of just kind of hanging out and getting settled in, getting to know everybody. And then it was like June 5th, Dustin started moving all our machinery down here.
It's all hands on deck. Even her parents come down from the Portland area to help get things ready.
So this is what I bought. Yes. Actually, this is probably about a third of it. And Mill B will still be the little smaller retail, your locals that come in, need special orders, cut to length. So what we're trying to do is build inventory on your basic 2-buys and 1-buys. Then we have the 10-acre vacant piece here to the north, and that is going to be our big, beautiful sawmill. So that'll be a few years out. So we're working on figuring out what
more production, a more production mill, something that'll kind of meet more of the demands of the retail yards, lumber yards, stuff like that. It's a gamble. Everything is a gamble, and you put everything into it. But for the people that can figure out how to survive in the times, I believe there's a future in the industry. It may not ever return to what it has been or what it is today, but there will always be a demand for wood. I pretty well wore her out on the
when
fear
he comes to me with the crazy ideas, I just go, okay, sure, let's do it. Why not? I do trust him. He's learned by now, after a decade, that he has to have a well thought out plan before he brings it to me. So I know now that by the time he brings me an idea, he's probably spent about 6 months thinking about it and researching it.
Dustin sees what's happening in the forests. He sees the devastation our lack of science-based forest management has had on small communities.
They have gone through and they have destroyed, I don't know how many little communities are gone. You could name towns from the Canadian border, clear down into California, into Montana, that they were thriving little communities where people worked at the mill, or they worked for a trucking company, they worked for the Forest Service.
The need for wood products increases, and so do the government regulations. Anti-logging groups say they care about the old growth and the animals who live in the forests, but what about the environment, the fires, and the people?
You go into the grocery store, and it used to be these little thriving little stores, and now it's all government assistance.
So Dustin and Brittany do what they can to save the industry and their rural neighborhood.
because eventually at some point in time you burn enough of it, and take someplace like Montana, Idaho, Colorado, Wyoming. Once these just beautiful, picturesque mountains and forests and everything, and turn it into an absolute wasteland of dead and dying trees, and then burn it on top of it, maybe enough people might ask the question, why are we doing this? If there's an opportunity, try it. That's the only thing you can do. Worst case is it doesn't work out and it fails, whatever. Maybe you learn something and it takes you to your next step through it. So you don't have a clue one day to the next what your next opportunity the world is going to give you.
You spend a little time with these two and you can't help but sense hope, faith, and a commitment to the adventure and to each other.
Gotten a lot of machines for anniversary. She loves to buy. She loves D8 cats. She told me one year she wanted a kitten, so I got her a D4. So.
Dustin and Brittany are the picture of the modern-day Oregon pioneer. Fear is a dream killer, so you don't give it a chance. You just go harder.
This is fun. No, this is fun for me. I love it. Like the whole thought of taking in a new company and like building it and turning it into something that's yours. That's the fun part. And once you do it once, it's kind of addicting.